You think you understand gravity because you live in it. You wake up every morning, swing your legs out of bed, and feel your feet hit the floor. You stand up and you feel that familiar heaviness, that anchor chaining you to the planet. You step on a scale and a number spins into view. You call that number your weight. You tell yourself, this is the earth pulling me down. It feels intuitive. It feels obvious. It feels like the most fundamental, undeniable truth of your existence. But I am here to tell you that your intuition is a lie. The sensation of weight you are feeling right now, the pressure on your soles, the heaviness in your stomach, the tension in your spine, is not gravity. You have never felt gravity in your entire life, not for one single second. What you are feeling is the floor pushing you up. You are feeling the electromagnetic resistance of the atoms in the concrete, refusing to let your atoms pass through. You're feeling an interruption, you're feeling a collision. To understand what is actually happening, you have to strip away the floor. Imagine a trapdoor opens beneath you right now. Instantly, the sensation of weight vanishes. The scale drops to 0. Your stomach floats into your chest. You're falling. And in that moment of terror, you are finally experiencing the true nature of reality. You feel nothing. No pull. No push. No force. If you closed your eyes while falling, you would swear you were floating in deep space, and this is not an illusion. This is the equivalence principle. It is the most dangerous idea Albert Einstein ever had, the idea that broke the back of classical physics. He realized that a person falling from a roof and a person floating in the darkest void of the universe are experiencing the exact same physical state. They are both doing what the universe wants them to do. They are following the path of least resistance. They are inertial. So, if falling is the natural state, if falling is doing nothing, then what is standing still? Standing still is acceleration. When you stand on the ground, you are not at rest. You are being accelerated upward at 9.8 meters per second squared. The surface of the earth is rushing up to meet you, pushing you away from your natural path, forcing you to deviate from the geometry of the universe. Gravity is not a force that pulls you down. Gravity is a curvature that you are trying to slide into, and the ground is the wall that stops you. This sounds like a word game, but it is the literal engineering truth of the cosmos. When you are standing still, you are like a bug on the windshield of a car that is constantly accelerating. You feel pressed against the glass. You think a force is pushing you back. But there is no force pushing you back. The car is pushing you forward. The earth is the car. You are the bug. Let's go back to Isaac Newton for a moment to understand why this is so hard to grasp. Newton gave us the math. He told us that force equals mass times gravity. He calculated the orbits of the planets with breathtaking precision. He could predict where Mars would be in 100 years. But Newton had a secret. He hated his own theory. He wrote letters to friends saying that the idea of action at a distance was absurd. How could the sun reach out across 93 million miles of empty vacuum and grab the earth? With what? Ropes? Hooks? Invisible hands? It smelled like magic. It smelled like the occult. Newton shut up and calculated, but he knew something was missing. There was no mechanism. There was no machinery. Just a mathematical rule that said, mass attracts mass. For 200 years we accepted the magic because the math worked. We built civilization on a mystery. We navigated ships, built bridges, and fired cannons using equations that described how gravity worked, while having absolutely zero idea why it worked. Then Einstein peeled back the skin of the universe and showed us the gears. He didn't just fix Newton's math, he destroyed Newton's universe. He said, space is not a stage. Space is not a passive, empty box where things happen. Space is a thing. It is a fabric. It has texture. It has flexibility. It can stretch, it can squeeze, it can wobble, and it can bend. Imagine you are an ant walking on a trampoline. Place a bowling ball in the center. The fabric curves down. Now, try to walk in a straight line past the bowling ball. You can't. The fabric tilts you. You curve toward the center. You didn't choose to turn. No force pulled you. You are just walking straight on a surface that is not straight. This is the standard analogy, but it is too simple. It misses the most terrifying part, because you are not just moving through space. You are moving through time. And gravity warps time far more violently than it warps space. This is the part that breaks your brain. Why does a ball fall when you drop it? You hold it still. It has zero speed in space. So why does it start moving? Why does it accelerate? It falls because time passes slower near the ground than it does near your hand. Your feet are aging slower than your head. The core of the earth is thousands of years younger than the surface because of this time dilation. Matter wants to move toward the place where time moves the slowest. It seeks the path of maximal aging. The ball falls because it wants to slow down its passage through time. The trajectory of a falling stone is a curve that bends down in space in order to stay straight in space-time. This isn't philosophy. This is engineering. Your GPS system, the map on your phone that tells you where the pizza place is, has to account for this. The satellites are 12,000 miles up. Gravity is weaker there. Time runs faster for them than it does for you. About 38 microseconds per day faster. If we didn't program the satellites to correct for this, if we used Newton's physics instead of Einstein's, the GPS would drift by 10 kilometers every single day. Within a week, the entire global navigation system would collapse. You are holding proof of general relativity in your pocket. Every time you find your location, you are confirming that gravity is the curvature of time. Now, let's push this to the limit. What happens when you have so much mass that the curvature becomes infinite? You get the monster. The black hole. Most people imagine a black hole as a vacuum cleaner, a big hole that sucks things in. That's wrong. A black hole doesn't suck. If you replaced our sun with a black hole of the same mass, Earth wouldn't get sucked in. We would keep orbiting exactly the same way. We'd just freeze to death. The gravity is the same. The curvature is the same. The difference is the event horizon. This is the point of no return. But why? Why can't light escape? Is the gravity just too strong? No, it's much worse than that. Inside the event horizon, the roles of space and time switch places. Read that again. Space becomes time. Time becomes space. In our world, you can move left or right, forward or backward. You have freedom in space. But you must move forward in time. You have no choice. The seconds tick by. Inside a black hole, the singularity at the center is no longer a place in space. It becomes a moment in time. It becomes the future. Asking, "Can I escape the black hole?" is exactly like asking, "Can I stop tomorrow from happening?" No, you can't. No matter how fast you run, no matter how much fuel you burn, you are moving toward the singularity because the singularity is next Tuesday. It is an inevitability woven into the geometry of your existence. Falling into a black hole isn't just falling down a well. It is falling into the end of time. And what happens to the information? What happens to you? As you approach the horizon, a distant observer sees you slow down. To them, you never fall in. You just fade, red-shifted into invisibility, frozen on the edge of eternity. But from your perspective, you cross the horizon instantly. You see the universe behind you shrink into a tiny dot of light. And then the tidal forces take over. Spaghettification. The gravity at your feet is so much stronger than the gravity at your head that you are stretched into a long, thin noodle of subatomic pasta. Your biology is erased. Your atoms are shredded. You become geometry. But let's zoom out. Because this story isn't just about heavy things falling, it's about the speed of reality itself. Newton thought gravity was instant. If the sun vanished right now, Newton said Earth would fly out of orbit instantly. Einstein said, "Impossible. Nothing travels faster than light, not even information. Not even gravity. If the sun vanished, the curvature of space would have to snap back. A ripple would travel out from the center. A gravitational wave. It would take 8 minutes and 20 seconds to reach Earth. For 8 minutes, we would orbit a ghost. We would orbit a star that was no longer there because the shape of space hadn't received the memo yet. We would see the light of the dead sun and feel the gravity of the dead sun. Only when the wave hit us would we be cast into the dark. We used to think this was just theory, but in 2015, we built a machine to hear it. LIGO. 2 4-kilometer-long lasers and concrete tunnels. We waited. And then we heard a chirp. 2 black holes colliding 1 billion light years away. They spun around each other, churning the fabric of space-time like a blender. They released more energy in a fraction of a second than all the stars in the visible universe combined. But it wasn't light. It was invisible. It was a tsunami of pure gravity. It traveled for 1 billion years. It passed through the Earth. It stretched you. For a tiny moment you were taller and thinner, then shorter and wider. It stretched the space inside the laser tunnels by a fraction of a width of a proton. And we measured it. We detected the trembling of the universe itself. We are no longer just looking at the stars. We are listening to the fabric of reality vibrating. So, what does this mean for you? It means you are not separate from the universe. You are not an actor on a stage. You are a knot in the fabric. You have mass. That means you curve space, you curve time. Right now, you are warping the flow of time for the person sitting next to you. You are a source of gravity. You are pulling on the Andromeda Galaxy, and it is pulling on you. The web is infinite, and it is unbroken. The reason you don't float off your chair is not because of a force. It is because the universe has a shape, and you are sliding down the slope of that shape. The floor is the only thing stopping you from sliding all the way to the center of the Earth. You are constantly crashing against the world, suspended in a state of interrupted freefall. Think about the arrogance of the old view. We thought the world was solid. We thought space was nothing. We were wrong. Matter is just trapped energy. Space is just dynamic geometry. Gravity is just the language they speak to each other. When you drop your keys, you aren't witnessing a mundane event. You are witnessing the interaction of 4-dimensional space-time curvature with the energy content of a metallic object. You are watching the universe try to return to its natural state. And this leads us to the darkest mystery of all. If gravity is just geometry, why does it seem to be broken? Look at a galaxy. It spins. But it spins too fast. The stars on the edge are moving so quickly that they should fly off into the void. There isn't enough visible matter, enough stars and gas, to generate the gravity needed to hold them in. The geometry should fail. The galaxy should tear itself apart. But it doesn't. Something else is there. Something invisible. Something that doesn't interact with light, doesn't interact with atoms, doesn't interact with electromagnetism. It only interacts with gravity. We call it dark matter. It makes up 85% of the matter in the universe. We are floating in a sea of invisible ghosts. The stars we see, the galaxies we photograph, the atoms in your body. That is just the foam on the ocean. The ocean itself is dark. We have no idea what it is. Is it a new particle? Is it primordial black holes? Or is Einstein wrong? Is our understanding of gravity itself flawed at large scales? We don't know. We are building massive underground detectors, waiting for a single particle of dark matter to nudge a xenon atom, just to prove it exists. But for now, gravity is holding on to its secrets. And then, there is the other monster, dark energy. Gravity pulls. It attracts. It should slow down the expansion of the universe. But as we discussed, the universe is accelerating. Something is pushing back against gravity. Something is stretching space faster than gravity can collapse it. This is the war for the fate of the cosmos. On one side, gravity trying to pull everything together into a big crunch. On the other side, dark energy trying to rip everything apart into a big freeze. And right now, gravity is losing. It seems that in the end, geometry will be stretched until it snaps. But even in this defeat, gravity remains the master of the local universe. It is the reason stars ignite. It is the reason planets form. It is the reason you can stand here and ask these questions. Without the crushing embrace of gravity, the universe would be a cold, diffuse mist of hydrogen. Gravity is the womb of complexity. So, the next time someone tells you it's just gravity, stop them. Tell them there is no such thing. Tell them about the elevator. Tell them about the time dilation. Tell them about the future inside the black hole. Tell them that the solid ground they stand on is an accelerator pushing them through a universe that wants them to fall. And then ask them if they still feel heavy, or if they just feel accelerated. Because once you see the strings, once you see the geometry, you can never unsee it. The pull is gone. There is only the path. And we are all just falling along it, together through the curved dark. This realization should not make you feel small. It should make you feel connected. You are not an observer of the universe. You are a participant in its geometry. Every move you make ripples through the fabric of space-time. You are a weaver of the cosmic web. You are significant because you have mass, and therefore you matter. Literally. So, stand up. Feel the floor pushing you. Close your eyes. And for a moment, try to feel the curvature. Try to feel the time slowing down at your feet. Try to feel the acceleration. It's a wild ride, isn't it? Welcome to the real world.